So what are you seeing for Bitcoin? Where do you have that in your short-term, midterm view right now?
Yeah, so short term, it's looking likely that we could retest this 28,500 area right here, which again, interestingly enough, it was your lowest point from 2021's midpoint of that cycle, that bull cycle. And it's also this low of the consolidation right here. So that's my short term resistance right around 28.5, 28.6. If we can pierce that, then we go right to that even number of 30,000, which was right above it right here. If we get there in the next few days, let's say by Tuesday or so, I will be actually looking to short Bitcoin at that point, considering how extended the short-term move is here. Also considering that I do expect some of the money flow that's gone from bank stocks into crypto probably does reverse back out. In a short-term amount, people are hiding in Bitcoin, right? I don't trust being in the banks. I don't trust my deposits in banks, maybe, but there's also a lack of trust in crypto where you don't know the regulation yet. You don't know all these different things. So you could have this yank of liquidity or money flow back and forth in these two asset classes. So it is an interesting thing to watch. But either way, I do believe that we'll pull back if we hit that 28.5 or 30,000 level. As of now, Bitcoin, and again, this might sound crazy to some people, but I'm still not in the camp that we've put in a low. I don't have the factors in place on a chart that tell me that the low is in for this entire cycle. And the main reason for that too is if you zoom out on the chart, right? If we look at this bigger picture, this again is a nice bounce. It's a fantastic percentage-wise bounce off the lows. But again, we haven't even recaptured this area here. And this is kind of my line in the sand, this 30,000, 30,500 level. So as long as we stay below that, I'm in the camp that we still can roll over. We can still maybe make new lows. It's not so much that Bitcoin is going to have another FTX scenario necessarily. It's more to me that I do believe the traditional markets are going to have a major drop. And if that happens, I'm still in the camp that Bitcoin is going to struggle as it will spread. The kind of the panic and the fear will spread across all asset classes. Maybe not so much gold, but even gold could see some selling. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now, is that right now it's been a trader's market. I think last weekend or last Friday, I was going long Solana, Avalanche, Polygon, I was long a Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I rode them up. I sold most of those kind of midway to 3/4 of the way up, kind of towards this upper trend line. I've now started a small short position in Ethereum, but it's only 2% of my portfolio. So it's kind of just dipping the toe in the water. But if we do get up into this range, then for sure I'll be looking to add to those and start accumulating a bigger short position. It's not like I'm going to hold that short position till 9,000, right? For me, it's short-term trading. So if we were to come back into this level here, I'm out. Take my profits on the shorts. I might even go long at that point. So it's a trader's market right now. When you get these type of ups and down moves, it's actually really, really good trading environment. Yeah, Ethereum's super interesting because we have this channel and you still have it. You're right at that upper level, right in here, and you're still kind of bubbling up against resistance. So that's one of the reasons why I started a little short position here in Ethereum, is just the fact that it's still struggling to get through this area of resistance right here. Now, if it does get through, you're going to head to $2,000. 2,000 was your highest pivot since it put in the low. So back in June, when it made a low of around just under 900, it had that monster rally to about 2,000. That would be your short-term resistance level on the charts. And again, that would be a level where I would add to my short at this stage. And it has been amazing. I mean, because if you look at the charts of Ethereum and Bitcoin, and this is, I don't know if we'll see an alt rally where like sometimes that does happen where it's kind of the second leg of the move is the alts. But I mean, Bitcoin and Ethereum have just blown the alts away. And you look at like Ethereum trading at a short-term high, basically the highest point since, going back to August of 2022. And then you also look at Bitcoin here and same thing, highest, in fact, it's the highest point going all the way back to June of 2022. But then you look at something like Solana, and Solana's had a bounce, but it's not even close to the recent high yet. Same thing with Matic. Look at Matic, not even close to the high. And what that tells me is that, again, people are looking for a safe haven. It's a safe haven move. It's not a cryptocurrency move. Not only has money now rotated over the last few days into the NASDAQ, but also crypto. I mean, not so much the altcoins, but Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is like their first test case in a long, long time, right? Their first banking crisis since the inception of Bitcoin. And you've absolutely seen a huge amount of money roll over into cryptocurrencies, specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think that's fascinating. You think about the reasoning behind the creation of Bitcoin. And here we are. I mean, this is just one of those use cases for it. And I think it adds credence. I'm still not in the camp where I think that necessarily the lows are all the way in on Bitcoin or Ethereum, but you can't deny that this just strengthens the case long term for why we need Bitcoin.
So what are you seeing out there? What's got your eye right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big question is, as we're coming into this Wednesday's Fed decision, is what's the Fed going to say? What are they going to do? I'm in the camp for a 25 basis point hike. I think that considering less than 2 weeks ago, Jerome Powell was mentioning he might have to do 50 basis points. I can't imagine them going to zero unless the banking situation deteriorates so much more than it already has. So I'm in the camp for 25, and then I think they'll actually calm the markets by saying, hey, we're going to wait a while here. Let's see what happens, and we're going to stop the rate hikes after this one. This is the S&P 500 chart, right? And so we've basically been, and I think people don't kind of recognize this, but what I've seen is that since really June, the markets have been in basically a chop fest, right? We've just been going sideways here. And so one of the things that I saw recently with this banking crisis is we actually broke below this trend line that's been sloping up. So to me, that's getting my attention. I want to see, do we rally next week? Do we retest that line? Maybe get above it? But right now, I do think the markets all are vulnerable. And I still have it priced in that the second half of 2023, I do see us not only retesting the lows from October, but then starting to actually go down to some of these targets, maybe even as low as 3,000. So I do think that we're in for a recession. I think that anyone who says we're not, it's going to be some soft landing. I mean, again, show me a place where the Fed has hiked this quickly, this fast, with this dramatic rise in rates. And I can't imagine us getting away with no recession whatsoever. So I think investors in stocks have to be aware of that. And I think if you factor in a recession, even a mild recession, valuations to me are still way too lofty in many of these names. I mean, that's part of my issue with why I just can't see that the markets have fully bottomed, because you still see so much speculation in the market. I mean, people are just itching for 2021 all over again, like a drug addict, they're scratching at their skin.